The Rockville Springdale Fire District has been struggling financially due to the lack of funding to take care of fire and emergency services. It's a problem that is faced by many gateway communities located on the border of national parks.
Just last month, as I heard from the fire chief, out of some 19 responses, 15 of them, as I recall, were in the park.
Last year, there were 4.5 million visitors in Zion National Park.
A lot of the stress that's coming in our community really emanates from that fact, but also the fact that we really have just roughly 850 property owners and citizens in Rockville and Springdale who are carrying the load for a gateway community that has this huge national attendance and people coming in.
Last December, Washington County Commissioners refused to allow a substantial increase in property taxes in that district and took over. Since that time, 2 fire district board members resigned and new board members are now in place. Commissioners voted Tuesday to give temporary management to the Hurricane Valley's fire district, hoping to quell fears and allow time to restructure. Commissioners voted to adopt a new interlocal cooperation agreement for fire and emergency medical services effective May 1st, 2018.
This agreement that we're considering today is the result of a lot of these negotiations back and forth between the board that's setting in Rockville and Springdale, the county commission, and the Hurricane Valley Fire Special Service District. And this would provide service from May 1st until December 31st of 2019.
While the district has money in reserve, they aren't allowed to spend more than $10,000 without authorization from the county.
It does have a fairly substantial reserve fund that could work with, but we haven't been given the authority because now we can only spend money up to $10,000 before the county commission has to approve everything we do. They have not really given us much of an option but to move us into the Hurricane Valley Fire District.
The fire district was also in the process of buying a new fire truck, half of which would have been funded through a grant. County commissioners say they won't let that fall by the wayside. There may also be issues with severance pay or unemployment for some of the firefighters that don't get hired on with the Hurricane Valley Special District, which covers that area.
This is going to have an adverse impact on a lot of the firefighters through no fault of their own. Because of that, it really becomes a reduction in force.
Currently, there is 1 full-time chief and 1 part-time clerk. Ford said townsfolk are worried that the 2 fire EMS personnel that the agreement has decided to allow won't be enough.
Hurricane is proposing to only have roughly 2 staff members where we used to have 4 on full-time, on call, full-time. So cutting in half the number of staff, and some of us were saying at least during peak periods, say from around now till the end of September, when we have this tremendous attendance, and that we might have them put more staff up there.
Board members agree that they need to find better solutions if they want to keep their fire district.
And if we don't come up with a solution in that period of time, their response will be to merge us completely with the Hurricane District.
The change will give the Fire District Board the next year and a half to find ways to keep their own district solvent.
The budget was out of line, and long-term, the budget is not sustainable unless we find a way to increase tax base or standby fees or get help from maybe tourism resources.
One idea is to utilize tourism tax dollars from transient room taxes to help shore up the differences.
Maybe working with the legislature to try to get some of the tourism funds back into the district.
With 2 to 3 new hotels to open soon, Ford said that leaves about 1.5 hotel rooms for every resident in that area, which could also pose for a higher number of EMS calls.
There's not many towns in which there are more hotel rooms than there are residents.
In Washington County, Melissa Anderson, CEC News.